Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex here. Today we are here with a brand new Extreme F1 video, and today this is going to be a challenge to see how many cars you can lap in a 25% race on the easiest difficulty on F1 2014. Now this was actually a challenge I was emailed by Shyam, hopefully I've pronounced his name right, but basically setting the difficulty to easiest possible, turn the safety car off. That's an important fact, because if the safety car comes out it can actually ruin it, as I did realise when I first recorded this. And yeah, basically just turn the safety car off, 25% race. I was thinking, what track do I do? Then I realised I do Austria quite a bit in these series, so that's what I was initially going to do, Austria, but you know, I thought probably best not. Let's do a different track for this one. I decided to go for Brazil, a track with similar qualities to in Austria in a way. Some fast parts of the track, some twisty parts, and average lap times about the same, as well as the amount of laps. So that's the track I went for here today, is Brazil, and it's a track I'm alright at, nothing too special in terms of my race pace around Brazil, but overall it should be pretty good. As I said, thank you to Shyam for sending me an email with this idea, and I appreciate him for that. Anyway, Brazil, here we are, 25% race, I think 18 laps we've got to complete here today. And I sort of added in an extra challenge here today. I thought, let's make it a bit of an extra challenge, not any sort of extra setups or anything. Let's just do standard setup. Do what the game gives you, no changing setup or anything. And I want this to be a challenge where you guys go out and record it for yourselves. So you can see here I'm in Hamilton's Mercedes, so you'd expect it to be the best car. But what's the challenge going to be like? Well, we all know I'm going to win the race. Let's be honest, that's a given unless I crash. But how many cars am I going to be able to lap? That is the main question in this video, and that's the thing I want you guys to go out and test as well. See how good you guys are at F1 2014. I think it's actually a pretty good challenge to see how good you are in the overall skill of F1 2014, because you've got to do the overtakes and everything as well. So it's quite an interesting challenge. I think you guys should definitely go and try it for yourself. And if you don't want to show the whole race, just edit out the highlights like I've done here today, and make sure you get all the key overtakes in. Now that's the most important thing. But here we are, 5th place on the grid. The game just gave me this, so that's where I'm going to start today. And the lights are out, and away we go here in Brazil. And straight away I'm looking to the inside here, sort of cutting off Vettel a little bit there, but it doesn't matter too much as we head down to turn 1. I needed to be aggressive, can't get held up behind these AI which are going incredibly slowly in these first couple of turns, and I managed to get past those all and back into the lead race where I want to be and where I need to be to complete this challenge. And really it took till lap 4 to us to actually get onto the back of an AI, and that was pretty interesting because it seemed to be Science Jr. who must have had to go in the pits or have crashed or something, because he's so far down the order. And you can see we're at 20 seconds ahead of Rosberg at that point. And then lap number 5 we were going onto the back of another AI car. This time I think it was the Sauber of Ericsson, but we'll see in a second here who exactly it was. I know it's a Sauber, but I can't remember who exactly it was. We'll see, as I said, in a minute here. But it's interesting to see the AI making mistakes quite early on. I'm not too sure whether it's one of the mods that I've got installed that makes it like that, but it's just strange to see the AI so slow or have crashed or something these first couple of laps. And look at this, it's actually NASA. I go to the inside there with the DRS and he nearly turns in on me and causes an accident. Luckily he doesn't, but I ended up getting past him. The next up on the list was Verstappen, and he, I think, got involved with an accident as well because he was quite far down the order. Went around the outside of him, and that's 16th place we've now lapped. Now I realise that I've obviously got less cars in my mod because of the cars that have been taken out, the Cato and Marussia. So basically what this challenge, sort of the final result, is how many cars did you lap up to, if that makes any sense. Whether I lapped up to 2nd place, 3rd place, 4th place. That's how I'm sort of going to be rating my award or whatever for this race. So that's what you need to tell me. If you do this challenge and don't record it, let me know what car you lapped up to, like Hamilton in 2nd or whatever. Just let me know in the comments. That's going to be the interesting point, not about how many cars you lapped, about up to what place you did lap. Hopefully that makes sense. Probably doesn't, but anyway. Going out the pits on lap number 9, we've obviously switched over to the prime tyres now, and as we head towards the end of the lap we'll actually see we get past a couple of cars in the pits. It probably was a couple of the cars that we'd already got past, maybe Sainz and Verstappen, maybe, I can't even remember who it was that we came out close to the pits, but we'll see in a second here as we slide round turn 1 and 2. But we managed to keep the power down, and it looks like there's an AI coming out the pit lane just in front of us here. I wonder who it's going to be. Obviously the blue flag should mean that he's going to slow down. Not too sure who it is. It's actually Romain Grosjean there. We get past him quite easily, and that's him lapped as well now. So the next person on our list. I'm not too sure where it is. I'm not close enough to see, but we can see an AI quite close in front of us here, and a good couple of corners could get us a bit closer. I think, actually, if I remember correctly, it's probably Verstappen again. Yeah, I think he pitted on the first couple of laps, so he's going longer on in the stint, and that's why he's back in front of us once again. But yeah, we've had a pretty good pace to catch up through him in like 3 or 4 laps, even though we've caught right back up to him, even though we've stopped, so that's pretty impressive. Even more cars that we've got past now that are in the pits, and it looks like a couple of cars will be coming out just in front of us as we head out the pits here. And this is sort of the main part of the race here. On my Sony Vegas project, this is the biggest block of footage because this is when the most overtakes actually happen in one go, because you can see we're purple through the first sector, and we've got to close the gap down to the cars in front now. We've got the fast fuel mixture on as well, so we're pretty much, I think this is the fastest part of the race for me. And with the standard setup, it didn't really work out as well as I'd hoped really with the standard setup. It wasn't actually a very nice setup at all really to use in my opinion. It just didn't feel right around Brazil. But I think that's a Force India we've got in front of us here, and that's the next person on our list. I think it might be Perez, but we'll see in a second here. And as we head round this next one, yeah, it is Perez. That was quite a good guess. I was thinking it's a 50-50 chance here. I might be able to get this right, but yes, Perez, and I did get that right, so that's good. So I wasn't really wasting time here. I was like, dive it down the inside of Perez there. I think that was 12th place there Perez was in, so that's how many cars we've lapped up to now. So, I think the next person on the list, if I saw correctly a minute ago as we're heading around some of the tighter corners, it looks like it's Force India's Hulkenberg in front of us now. So we're in a bit of a Force India sandwich for a second here. But down the main straight, you can see we've still got a decent amount of fuel and everything. As, yeah, it's Hulkenberg stuck up behind one of the McLarens. Not too sure what's happened to him. You saw at the start of the race, the McLaren's quite high up the order on the grid, so I'm not too sure what's happened to them. They seem to have slipped down the order a bit here, but we have DRS and managed to fly past Hulkenberg. Who's next? Is it Alonso? Yes, it is Alonso. Oh, there's carnage in the middle of the track there. As Kvyat has crashed into one of the Toro Rossos. Wow, I didn't expect that. Obviously going for that double overtake with DRS, then looking forward, I'm really realising 2 cars crashed right in front of me, so that's pretty weird to see that. Anyway, Kvyat's teammate was Ricardo was the next person on the list, and we got past him pretty easily. And then after Ricardo, it was Massa. Obviously, Brazil, home track for him, so he should be doing good. But he is currently behind his teammate Bottas in 5th place, that is, for Bottas, and 6th place for Massa. We go around the outside of Massa there in a bit of a lock-up. I was actually getting a bit frustrated behind Massa because he wasn't really giving me much opportunity to overtake, so that was a bit annoying. But I managed to get past him at the end, which was good. Now, the next person on my list was Bottas, as I said a second ago, and that shouldn't be too hard. Hopefully he'll get out of the way down this main straight. I was quite lucky, actually. Most of the time, the AI, the blue flags and everything were in the right places for me, and I could overtake them down the straight. It's just around the twisty parts of the track when the AI don't want to give up a position or give up any time. And that's the most frustrating part, just near the sort of middle to end part of the track where it's a little bit twisty. That's the most interesting part really, I suppose, as it's kind of hard to know what they're doing. But anyway, you can see there we got past Button. I think that was 4th place there. Yeah, now we go on to 3rd place here, Sebastian Vettel. So after him there's only 1 car in front, which is I think about 10 or 15 seconds ahead of Vettel, which is Nico Rosberg, my teammate. And once we can get past him, that would be the last person we need to overtake, and we would have been able to lap everyone. And you didn't see it because I didn't include it, but we did actually lap another AI as well. That was actually 2 laps down, which we'll see at the end of the race. But yeah, the main part about this video, overtaking Rosberg here. You can see he's 1 minute 12 down. Have we got enough as we go on to the last lap of the race any second now to get past Rosberg on this last lap of the race? It's going to be tough, but I'd hope that he'd be letting us through with the blue flags. But who knows, anything can happen in Formula 1, and it normally does. I think that's a classic Murray Walker phrase there. And who knows, we could just crash into him once again. As I said in the last video, we could crash into him and lose a wheel because of the realistic damage. But in the end, it's a bit too easy in the end there. We get past him under DRS, and we managed to get everybody lapped there. And 2 people obviously retired, Kvyat and the Toro Rosso, which we'll see later on who that exactly was. But there we are. Every single person is lapped in a 25% race, including a couple in the end which are double lapped. And there we are across the start finish line. Looks like someone's retired on the last lap of the race as well. But there we are. We won the race. We gained a couple of positions. And when you see the fastest lap times, I mean, I know my fastest lap time was actually pretty bad, but when you look at the lap times of the AI, like 6 seconds slower was Rosberg nearly there. And you can see there, everybody was lapped, including when we look down in a minute, a couple of cars which had retired, and a couple, I think maybe one or two were 2 laps down in the end there. Look at that, McLaren Honda of Alonso. He started in the top 4 and finished way down the order there. And retirements. Oh, it wasn't actually, didn't look like it was a Toro. So maybe it was Carlos Sainz Jr. that crashed into it. I'm not too sure, but Raikkonen and Kvyat have retired there, as well as Perez. Interesting. I thought it was a Toro Rosso when I had a first glance at it, but maybe I was wrong. But anyway, guys, thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. And until next time, it's been AlexZAfRo here. Goodbye.